He challenged me. He said, you should meet 2 or 3 people every day.
We're talking about how to level up on LinkedIn and engagement, being the go-giver, the idea that being open to opportunity.
We all deal with challenges, but how do you overcome that?
Master Connector with Steve Spiro is live on air.
Welcome, everybody, to the Master Connector Show. I'm Rob Genovese. I'm the co-host for today. I'm so excited for today's show. We got a special guest on here first, but let me bring up Steve and a little bit about Steve. If you don't know Steve, he and I go back about 27 years or so. And, we're 2 former shy guys turned into connectors, and Steve is the master connector. And if you just saw that video, you saw in a little clip there, he said he was challenged to meet 2 to 3 brand new people every day. Now, I don't know if you can conceive of that, but to meet a brand new person, as an adult, we're programmed, you don't go out and meet people. The friends that you had as kids is the friends you have later. The friends you made in college are the friends you have for life, or maybe your neighbors. But Steve's out there meeting people all the time. That's why he is the Master Connector. That's why this is the Master Connector Show. So please help me welcome Mr. Steve Spiro. Hey, Steve.
Hey, what's going on, Rob? Great to see you. Yeah, crazy stuff. And, listen, I've traveled a lot. And when you go to different parts of the country around the world, it's a little bit nicer. People are friendlier, right? I've been to the South, and you'll talk to somebody for 2 or 3 minutes, and after that, they're like, "Hey, you should come over for dinner," And unfortunately, in the New York area, it's like they're ready to pull their gun out when you start talking to them. It's like they want to shoot you or kidnap you or something. It's just crazy. So it is a crazy thing, but I appreciate the kind words, and but it's great to be here. Hey, make sure you get in there into the comments, connect with each other. This is the Master Connector Show. You are all Master Connectors. It's not just me. We are. If you're part of this community, you are a Master Connector. So get in there, connect with each other. Make sure you let us know where you're tuning in from. Thanks, Rob. City, state, country, whatever. Let us know, because you count. You matter. We are not here as lurkers, LinkedIn lurkers. We're here as participants. So get in there. We want to hear from you. We only see a number. We don't know if you're watching. And we don't see your name. We don't know. So let us know you're here. But anyway, what's going on, friends? Steve Spiro, the Master Connector, coming at you live and direct. So, listen, I put out some posts recently on the topic of grit. And this is a great topic, because one of the things, the key to success, in my opinion, one of the main keys of success is grit. As you heard in the video, it's really overcoming and getting through those troubles and challenges and struggles and all those things that we deal with. And it's really I'll tell you a quick story, right? When I did the martial arts for many, many years, when I started, there was probably about 20 or so people that were quote unquote ahead of me, right? And the way that my sensei lined up the class, it was the newest people facing the front on the far right. And as you progressed towards the left side, it was all the veterans, people that were around for years, and black belts, right? And, so there was a lot of people ahead of me. And when I joined about 3 months later, the gentleman, John, actually was 3 months later, I got to see him get promoted for black belt. And it was an incredible ceremony. And, it was like 4-hour experience. I was so impressed. I'm like, I want to be in that elite club. I want to do that too. And so I worked hard. I persevered through things. I got my nose busted. I got my lips split open. I got broken bones, all sorts of crazy stuff. When I was sick, I actually came to class anyway. I just said, all right, I'll come to class and I'll watch. And then I'm like, when I got to class, I'm like, maybe I'll just put my uniform on, my gi. Maybe I'll just do the workout. And by the time I was done, I finished the whole class. Now, I know today with health things, we know that's probably not smart, but that's what I did, and so I just continued, and I worked harder. I outworked everybody, and I persevered. And when I backed away finally, not that long ago, I had passed everyone in that class except for that guy, John. He's a at the time, his 5th degree black belt. I reached up to 4th degree and passed everybody. Now I backed away. So there's people that have now passed me now because I stopped, but, and I did it since 83. So it's a long journey, but what I learned is if you stay steady and you don't quit, you win. The only ones that didn't make black belt were the guys and people that quit, that stopped training, right? And there's also things that I found along the way with were tools, right? I started doing the workouts on the side. In terms of success, there's books, there's audios, podcasts, the things to help you succeed. Tools are so vital, and we're going to talk about that today. The things that help you succeed. Also, mentors. Many times, people, and I'm a guy that was not a team sports guy. I was, I didn't. I did chess, I did the martial arts, and I did tennis. So who was my team? Me, right? And I was the guy that was, if it's to be, it's up to me. And I was not big on working with others, but I learned how, as you heard in the video, a mentor came into my life, and I submitted myself and said, all right, you've got the fruit on the tree. You've done well. I'm gonna take your advice and your mentorship, and I'm going to apply it. So there's so many cool things that you can have and utilize to succeed, because it's not just on your strength. I also am I believe that there's a higher power. I have a relationship with my Heavenly Father, and I believe that that's also an incredible part of having the grit, because you know that you have the strength within you because of whose you are, not just who you are, but whose you are. So anyway, I am excited. Rob, we're going to have a great time today. Excited to bring her up. So I'll turn it over to you to introduce our guest today. So if you're ready, I want you to type in community. Remember, we're not LinkedIn lurkers. We're participants. Type in hashtag let's go. And Rob, I'll turn it to you, sir.
All right. Thanks, Steve. Look, I said we got a great guest for you today. When I was reading her bio, I just really thoroughly impressed with the amount of accomplishments that Julie has. But Julie Riga is a renowned certified coach, trainer, inspirational speaker, and author. Her diverse educational background encompasses business, communications, training, and executive coaching. She's also a TEDx speaker, and I've never heard this before, trained at TED headquarters. I've never met somebody who's been trained at TED, so that's pretty cool. And now she's working to accelerate future leadership by working with executive teams and high potential leaders. I love that. Julie's journey into coaching began with a passion for passing on the knowledge and skills imparted to her by inspirational father, Ennio Riga, who instilled in her the resilience to overcome life's challenges. Her passion is to help people discover their purpose and stay on course. Please welcome to the show, Julie Riga. Welcome, Julie.
Hi, I'm so happy to be here. Thanks for having me today.
We're blessed to have you, Julie. It was great meeting you. And again, another new friend that we met through each other through LinkedIn, which is pretty awesome. So just want to acknowledge a few people. Yolanda, it's so great to have you here on the show with us. Before we get into the topic here, Yolanda is an amazing community member, and she's just loyal. Catherine Quinn, good to see you. I met Catherine at a networking event the other day, the BCW, Business Council of Westchester. So great to see you on here. And I know there's a bunch more here that are on. Just you got to be unshy and get in the comments so we know you're here. So, but Julie, great to have you here. So, we want to talk a little bit about some of the things. I touched on it a little bit in the in my monologue in the beginning opening statement here, right? And we all have setbacks. So community, type in hashtag setbacks if you can, please. And we want to hear, what was some of the most significant setbacks that you faced, and how did you bounce back from it? And along the ways, what are some of those practical tools that you could share with us on how you did it? I know you have a crazy backstory. So, with time permitting, let's get into some of that if you don't mind.
Yeah, so I'm going to tell about a significant setback I had as an adult. I had a few of them as a child, but we don't want to go through the whole past childhood history because that will get long and boring. But really what ends up happening to me is I'm newly married and I have a newborn baby, and basically find out that my husband was doing things that were not enhancing our relationship. And so I found myself with a marriage that was ending and a 9-month-old baby. And so as a very young 32-year-old individual, I had to figure out how I was going to redesign my life. And that was a moment of time where I was just like, I was taken out. I was taken out in a lot of different ways. I just felt like emotionally I was taken out into a place where I didn't think I was ever going to recover. And then financially, I had to figure out how I was going to do this new life without having a partner to help me. And so my daughter was 9 months old. I had to deal with all of that. And in the midst of it, my mother and father moved to Florida. So when I say I found myself alone, I was literally alone, because what happens when you get married is you have a new support system with your husband's family. And so that was taken away. Some of the friends that I had made were taken away. And so I found myself in a very difficult situation. So I make this joke that I my mother said to me, "Julie, I don't know how to really help you, but I'm sure the answer's in a book. And if you go look in the library, someone's going to have an answer to fix your problem." And so what I did is I went to Barnes and Noble, and I bought every single self-help book possible, and I turned my ex-husband's side of the bed into a self-help library, and I started just reading and journaling and going to classes, self-development classes, because I needed something else that was going to help me survive and thrive. And so one of the things that I did was I went to this class called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
Stephen
And
Covey.
Stephen Covey, right? It is just like, it changed my life literally, because habit one, being proactive, understanding what I could control and what I could not control, put perspective into my life so that I knew that, okay, if I concentrate on the things that I can control, maybe I can fix this. That was the first aha. The second one was beginning with the end in mind. And that was a moment in time where I was like, okay, if I can redesign my life or create a story around what I want in my life, then I can create it, because it's about first creation, second creation. And I got really into journaling, which is a tool that helped me through this. I got really into this idea of creating a personal mission statement. And that was the thing that really helped me change my life, is creating a personal mission statement. And through that, I was able to recover and start to design the life that I wanted.
I love that. So many things resonate for me, Julie. Personal development. You know, I get to keynote. I do a lot of podcast interviews, and I've had this question a few times, and that is, if you had to go back and tell your younger self, something, what would you say? And one of the key things I'd say is get into self development, get into those positive mental attitude books, or whatever you would call them, or podcasts, or now audios, whatever, audiobooks, whatever it is. So key. And then the other piece that you spoke about, which I just lost the idea, but anyway, you resonate a lot. My brain went to another place, but
I
great
got something,
stuff.
Steve. I got to say,
Go for it, please,
one of the
Rob.
things you said, Julie, actually, that I heard a long time ago, I heard it and I'm like, you can do that, was design your life.
That's it.
Because, as a young person, I thought, life just happened to you. Like, that's what I thought it was. Like, it happens and you respond. And when I
Mm,
first heard somebody say you can design your life, I was a graphic designer by formal education. And I thought, I can design my life. Like, I can make it what I want. And that was
sure.
a trigger for me.
The part
Yeah.
that, and thank you for that, Rob, was the personal mission statement. I did that to, like, literally the year that COVID hit, but just before it hit, right around January. I heard it in an audio podcast, and somebody said that you should do that, and it's been such a life changer for me, because it really gives me a sense of purpose. It's that North Star, how I'm going to live my life and what my purpose on this planet is. So
Yeah.
it's
It's
pretty.
it's big. It's a big moment in time when you can create your personal mission statement. And the other thing is that I would have done anything to have someone help me through it. I didn't
Yeah,
have anybody. I didn't know that there were coaches out there, and at that time, coaching wasn't as big.
that's
And
right.
I kept saying that if I have to go through this, I want to help other people not be alone through a situation like this, whether it be a career situation, a home situation, anything that is very difficult. I became a coach to help those people that are going through difficult times, because what I want them to know is that you can create a different life.
That's right.
And that by developing yourself in skills that you need to get to that next place, that you will be able to overcome some of these challenges. And it is all of the difference. And I'm thankful in a way, in a very, I mean, I guess in a big way at this point, I'm thankful it happened to me young
Yeah.
because it forced me, it like pushed me off the deep end to self-development and growth. So I've been doing this since I'm 32 years old. I'm looking at like, I just turned 50. I'm telling you how old I am. And so it's 18 years later that I'm still talking about this, but now I'm ready. I'm really ready to help people because for the last 18 years, I've been preparing for what I'm doing now.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's we're in a crazy world right now. There's a lot going on, and I know I've said it in different episodes here, especially since it all happened. But our hearts, our thoughts, our prayers go out to Israel and the people of Israel. Lots going on out there, and obviously the Ukraine as well is going on. And I think we're feeling a lot of stress, whether it's the stress of our life, the stress of the impending whatever's coming, whatever. And so I want to talk about stress a little bit. And we're going to talk about the positive side of it, of course. We're not going to dwell in the negative. But so type in #stress community. And so we want to ask you, Julie, right? Could you provide specific examples of how cultivating presence has improved your communication and reduced stress in your life?
So I think the most important thing is building a level of curiosity within yourself and having a self-awareness moment multiple times a day where you're looking at yourself from a balcony perspective. If you can look at yourself from a balcony perspective and look down at yourself and see what's going on, you can put this into perspective. And I think there is so much going on with having stress and not knowing what tomorrow might bring. But again, you can only focus on what you can control, or you should be focusing on what you can control. The minute you start focusing on what's happening out there and all of the things that are going on is the minute you lose your focus and the ability to be proactive. And so I think the biggest piece of advice I'd give to people that are dealing with stress is to go inside, have some self-awareness around your purpose, and really think about what can I control in this moment. And the things that you can control are always your thoughts, your actions, your purpose, what you want to do with that. And
Right.
so it's really a mindset.
Yeah, Rob and I share a personal friend and mentor, one of our mentors, and his name is Hugh Ryan, incredible man. He likes to stay under the radar of social media, so I don't know if I'm supposed to say his name. But anyway, he always says this, control the controllables. And, like you said, right, we have things that we have control of, and it's like you said, it's our mindset. It's what we speak, right, which is kind of controlled by our mindset. And our actions, right? It's basic, basic things. And so true for sure. Rob, looks like you want to say
Yeah,
something.
I get to jump in on that. And first of all, thank you, Julie, for sharing your age. When you said you started when you're 32, I thought, well, she's only doing this for a year. That's pretty cool.
Oh
So
my
I
gosh.
appreciate
I
that.
used to not tell anybody my age, but I just turned 50 this year and somehow I'm just going to like embrace it all.
Yeah.
And I think that women and men should just be celebrating this time because we've made it.
Yeah.
People would always complain, I'm turning 50, and they think like life's half over and I'm in the last half, and I haven't achieved what I want. And I was like, I'm not going to do that. When I turned 50, I was telling now I don't care about birthdays. My age doesn't matter to me. Like when I turned 50, I was like, man, I'm 50. And because I want people to know, like, I'm living, man, and you should too. But
Yeah.
aside from that, one of the things that you mentioned, talking about controllables, I think I was 48 when it finally hit me, when I finally realized that I'm not in control of anything, except for my attitude and how I treat other people. But I
Right.
couldn't control all my results. And so that was probably the biggest thing that I learned after a bunch of years. It's just like, when you give up the control and you get in that flow, right? I mean, I like what you had said before about what can I control in this moment, right? Because it's your immediate action, I think is what you're saying. Like what action can I take now? Or what thoughts can I have now to control something in this moment? But you can't always control the outcome, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And if we're living in the future and we're living in the past, this moment that we're having right now doesn't even exist because we're not present to it. We must be present to the moment to understand what opportunities are coming, because in every moment there's an intelligence happening. And if you're not present to what's actually happening in the moment, you're going to miss opportunities. And those opportunities will just pass you by and you'll think that no opportunities were there, but they were there. You just didn't see them.
Yeah, no doubt. It's funny. Years ago, no, it's not that many years ago, but a while ago, when I started to have this transformation to become okay with who I am, I went to this silent meditation retreat. It was you weren't supposed to speak at all. Obviously, that's why it's a silent meditation retreat. But you weren't even supposed to look people in the eye. If you were passing them in the hallway, you had to look away, and it was really intense. And I had this moment, this experience, like I'm okay. It's okay. They're okay. Everything is just okay. And I was really present. But I want to talk to you. So we want to get into the next topic here, which is kind of really well related to this. So type in hashtag mindful, right? So can you share some mindfulness techniques that help you make better decisions and maybe helped you, connect deeply with your emotions?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that I do is I'm intentional about how I show up for certain things. And I think about how I want to show up. And so there's a document that I've created, and I teach this when I work with people that I'm coaching around speaker training, is that I have a document called Before I Speak so that I can remember why I'm in the moment. And so understanding and remembering why you're in the moment and how you want people to experience you is something you can pre-think before you get to the moment so that you have that mindset going into the situation. And then part of the other one is that we want to make sure that we're listening to people. And when we talk about mindful, your mind can be full of other things. And it's funny because I teach a listening class. I teach a class called My Listening Habit. And mindful is one of the things that we say, is your mind full or are you mindful? And so it's this idea that there are 12 roadblocks to listening, by the way, 12. And so listening is hard and being present to what's actually happening is hard. But if you learn how to listen and that there's 4 levels to listening, so there's 12 roadblocks to listening and 4 levels of listening, which I think is really interesting. But having known these things going into a moment, you can see how to be more mindful. And then there are some breathing techniques that I like to use.
That's great. Yeah, we if this show is another hour or two, we could probably get into all that stuff. But that's amazing. And I've learned to become a good listener. A lot of times you have to really listen, because many times in the older days when I was starting this journey of meeting new people, I had this sort of, I don't know, list of questions I can ask, right? So, okay, they answer the first question, check. They answer the next question, okay, check. But I wasn't really connecting, because when they answered the first question, we could have taken 6 or 8 layers of that, and which showed I really cared about that person. I wanted to know more. So, oh, really? So you've only lived here for 3 years. Where were you before? Why did you move? What, and so forth and so on, right? So just being present and really listening is so crucial. So I appreciate. So we want to shift gears a little bit here and talk about purpose. You touched on that when you were talking about your personal life mission statement. So type in hashtag purpose community. So how do you define your personal purpose? How does and how does it fuel your journey to success?
So for me, the way I found my personal purpose again was working with the beginning with the end in mind. When I went to that class, Stephen Covey's class, and it was a 2-day class, and part of the exercise was to create the personal mission statement. But in that activity were like 20 questions that you asked yourself. And through that reflection, I was able to drill, and sort of understand what my purpose was through that activity. And I do a lot of work with individuals to find their purpose as well. Through doing that same activity, I'm still doing exactly the same sort of activity with people, and I've taken it to the next level. But it's just that understanding of what is it that probably you suffered through and that you can help people with now. That's the way I see purpose. And for me, purpose is something that you're very passionate about, that it's connecting to your energy, and that when you think about doing it, you get excited. And so it's an energy thing too. So purpose is connected to passion, which is connected to how you're showing up. If you're not purposeful about what you're doing, you don't have the energy and the contagious energy that you're bringing out to others. And I think that's like the test, right? Is if I'm doing something and it's purposeful, you should be feeling the energy behind what I'm saying or doing because I believe it.
Yeah, I love that. You know, I'm not saying this should be everybody's, but for me, I found my purpose when I heard this phrase, and it was a really successful person. He said it. He said, "True success is how many people are better off because you are here." And to me, that became my purpose, right? I want that people, I don't have my wife and I don't have kids, so what we leave behind is perhaps mentorship as our light, is our, how we've helped people, touch people's lives, be that light, right? So that became our purpose. But I love what you're saying about passion. In fact, it's the next question we want to get into. Thank you, Rob, on that. Absolutely. Be the light for sure. So passion, right? So to type in hashtag passion, right? So you touched on passion a little bit. For me, this is a tricky one, because a lot of times, I was talking to a young man yesterday, we had coffee together, and he's like, I'm struggling with, trying to figure out what's going to be my passion for my career. And what if you can't find a career that's you're going to be passionate about, but you have passion? And what if I said to him, I said, what if your job is your job, but the time, and it allows you the time and the money to be able to fulfill your passion. What if your passion is to support missions, but you don't want to go do the missions themselves? Do you have the money now to support that passion? So anyway, I want to hear your perspective in the pursuit of success. How do you stay aligned with your core values and your passion?
Right. And so that's having the North Star set and you writing it down, you journaling the things that you want for your life. And you're not always going to get to do that all the time. And I tell people that as long as you're in pursuit of it in some sort of way, you may not be doing this as your 9 to 5 yet, but one day you will. And you're preparing yourself. We just talked about like how long it took me to actually jump into what I'm doing right now. And it was a journey. And that's what the stay on course message is, that life is a journey. It's not a destination. And as long as you are in pursuit of in some way, you're on the right track. I don't want people to think that if they're not loving their job, that this is the end or they're not fulfilling it. But
Yep.
keep that thing in front of you. If you have a passion, if you have a purpose, have it in front of you. Do something every day or do something once a week that fuels you to do the rest of the stuff. Because I can tell you right now, as a single mom for many years, I didn't always feel that my job was purposeful, but I do know that it was fulfilling a need for me to support my daughter. So I think that we need to look at our lives holistically and understand that life is a journey.
Love that. So true. So true. Well, we're starting to get towards the, and then Rob said it before we got started here. This half hour goes crazy. So we'll start to wrap up. So love for you to talk about your offer. You have a free offer you want to offer the community here. Tell us a little bit about that. Tell the community. And also in that, if you could tell everyone the best way to get a hold of you and connect with you.
Great. So love for you to connect with me here on LinkedIn. I do a lot of live audio events and also Zoom events. The offer that I have is for a stakeholder management tool. So if you are an entrepreneur or you're working within a corporate organization, it is yet another way for you to get clear on who you're connecting with and who are your stakeholders. And I thought, in the spirit of the Master Connector Show, this would be a great tool to give everybody. So excited to have you see that. And then also my website is stayoncourse.io. I do a podcast once a week, and I would love for you to follow my podcast as well.
There you go. Awesome. Good stuff. Rob G. Oh, you're muted, sir.
I always get caught. We're in this world where you got to watch your microphone. But Thank you so much, Julie, for that free offer. Everybody, please click on that and get some stuff from Julie. She's got tremendous experience and success, and obviously a story that backs up that success, which is always key. And speaking of success and overcoming, I want you to be sure to make sure you're grabbing Steve's book, The Tao of a Master Connector, the way an introvert became a master connector, because I think there's a lot of introverts out there, me included at one time, thought, I could never be somebody who actually connects with people, that I'm too shy, that I don't have the skills to be able to do that. And it's so not true. You can learn it. I had to learn it, and it took me a little while because I was so shy. I was so scared, so much fear. But Steve has laid it out in his book right here. So we're going to put that link in the chat. Make sure you're grabbing this. Such a great read. Highly endorse it.
I appreciate that, Rob. And it's funny because the audio book, the Audible, is coming out hopefully in about a week or so. So that's exciting as well. And just not to self-promote here, but I've had quite a few people say, I love the book because you could go open any page in the book, and there's a little, because it's not like this contiguous story. It's just pieces, and you can open up a book and a piece of the book, a page, and then boom, it'll refresh you, right? I saw that Catherine wrote that this show refreshed her, so I'm glad that happened. But again, I want to thank you, Julia. You did a great job, Julie. Thank you for being here and honoring us. Also want to thank our number one. I want to thank my co-host, Rob G. You're amazing. I appreciate you, sir. It's been a blessing. We've known each other now 27 years, and being able to collaborate like this has been really a lot of fun. You bring great value to this show and to our community. Thank you so much. And community, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. So thank you for being you and your participation. And make sure, if you haven't, share this out to your community. If you're watching this or listening to this in the replay, the replay, just type in #replay. Again, your voice matters. You matter big time. So, but I want to just shout out next week's show, episode 137. It's going to be navigating growth mindset. We touched on that a little bit today, as Julie was saying. The other side of her bed was all success books, right? So that growth mindset of kind of growing and self-development. It's going to be a fun show with Genesis Vaquero. I'm hoping I'm saying her name right. So I know Rob has posted the information there. Appreciate that. And I just want you to know, listen, we are, as I said before, we're in a world there's a lot of darkness. There's a lot of things going on. People are lonely. They're hurting. Let's make sure to always remember to shine our light, be that light, uplift, encourage one another, right? Remember, if you light somebody's candle with your candle doesn't diminish. It just, in fact, when you have the two candles together, it's making a brighter light. It's making a bigger light. So just be that light. Let's be a light. Let's make sure we're encouraging everybody. And we just appreciate you once again. And we're going to close out with a video. See you next time. Same back time, same bat channel. Don't miss this next week. And just love and appreciate you guys. he challenged me. He said, you should meet 2 or 3 people every day.
We're talking about how to level up on LinkedIn, engagement leading the go-giver, the idea that being open to opportunity.
We all deal with challenges, but how do you overcome that?
Master Connector with Steve Spiro is live on air.